we can make the shift from stress, burnout, to having vision and a purpose and focus and having habits and mindsets that are healthier, and just keep you grounded and keep you moving forward, but at a pace that makes sense for your life and your family, your body, your mind, your heart. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Ethel. Today we're going to have a little bit of a different type of video. I just want to have a one-on-one conversation about just 5 modalities. They're almost like therapeutic modalities that have helped me on my healing journey. Some of these modalities are actually being used by people as a way of healing others, and there are people that are starting practices around some of these things that I kind of stumbled upon that really helped me kind of just heal and slow down and really reevaluate myself, and just help me regulate my nervous system, just learn some new ways of being, things that facilitated that for me. And so yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys because I know some of you are also on your healing journeys. So if you're new here, thank you for being here. I'm so excited when new people show up. And if you have been following me for a while, I'm so excited that you're watching this video. I really, truly appreciate every one of my subscribers. Do share, like the videos, because it does help me get these videos out. I really, truly appreciate all the support, and let's jump right in. So first of all, what am I healing from, right? Because we hear the word healing a lot these days, and mental health is a real component of health. We don't think about it a lot, but when it's affected, it can affect all areas of our lives. It can affect our relationships, our finances, our physical health, our jobs, it can affect our parenting, just all sorts of things. And so mental health is actually very important, although it has stigma attached to it. It's on getting, I guess, diabetes or heart attacks, or there's a lot of stigma to mental health, which I think shouldn't be there, because your brain is an actual organ and your mind is an actual thing, right? So it's consciousness, and it needs to be taken care of. So I love mental health type, just psychology, and just that type of topics, because it helps us live better lives. It helps us create better lives, right? And come alive and heal from the inside out, so that we can live our full potential. So without further explanations, let's talk about what I'm healing from. So what am I healing from? I'm healing from a childhood. I lost my dad when I was 7 years old. And if you've gone through something like that, that's a significant trauma for a child. He passed in a sudden car accident, which changed our family dynamics, and also was a grief process that I and my siblings had to go through as children. I am recovering from, or have recovered in a lot of ways from just growing up in poverty, believe it or not, that is in itself its own category of trauma. And yeah, so I don't want to like spend too much time explaining what I'm healing from. I just wanted to highlight them because, sometimes people might wonder, like, what is she healing from, and what is my story, And so, growing up in poverty, losing my dad suddenly in a car accident at age 7. I also have been recovering from just not having a sense of home, just that healthy family home where children thrive and develop and find themselves, I did not have that, and I think that's me and a lot of people in the world. And so when you come into adulthood, it is our responsibility now to build and kind of try to piece together the puzzle and heal. And another thing I was healing from is just the chaos that I grew up in, just the threat of violence, the just chaotic people that I was around because we had to live in my great grandmother's house with relatives. So it was kind of crazy, and I saw a lot of things and just like a lot of, like chaos happening around me as a child, right? A child's brain. I'm trying to figure out what the world is and what the world is about, like any other child. So all of those things, compounded and catapulted me into adulthood. And so as an adult, I began to learn. I began to read books. I began to take courses and classes and get certifications. I am a health and life coach currently. And I have learned so much, and I have come a long way in my healing journey. And so, yeah, I am going to go ahead and share about the modalities and the things that I've done to kind of help me heal. Before I get into the 5 things, I want to say and preface everything with the fact that God in heaven, our Father, through his Son, Jesus Christ, is the number one source of my healing. I cannot even begin to tell you how much just direct healing that God has been. He's been a source of peace and a source of comfort, a source of wisdom, a source of love, great love that has literally rescued me and rescued my heart and my mind. So I don't want to take away from him at all and from that testimony of how big this has to do with God. But he also, because we live on earth and we live in, a physical world, I believe he gave me these modalities that I'm about to share with you as ways of physically interacting and physically healing my physical body, my mind, my emotions, through things that he has provided in our physical world, apart from the spiritual healing that he gave me. So I just wanted to make sure that that was definitely clear, because that is the biggest piece, honestly. But yeah, so the first thing I would like to talk about is the concept of self-mothering. This is a concept where we are able as adults to stand in as the parents, right, that we needed when we were children. So we're able to stand in and be that strong person and be that understanding person, because really, in reality, we are the people that know best what we needed when we were children. So now that you have an adult brain, now that you have adult resources, now that you have adult access to information, knowledge, coaches, therapy, courses, right? You can then take in what you need to take in and stand, with your choice, stand as the parent to your broken child self. And it sounds, interesting, right? But if you look into the research, inner child work is super effective because there are parts of us that lay dormant, right? We don't die as children and then resurrect into adults. We gradually grow and become adults. So all adults are children that grew up in size. And sometimes it doesn't even correlate to growing up in knowledge, wisdom, or any other way. It could be literal just size. That's what, some adults tend to act like toddlers, okay? So, but basically, as your adult self, you're able to grow and then turn to your child self and say, you're safe. You're safe. You don't have to fear. You don't have to go through all the things that you went through ever again, because I'm going to be here. I'm going to show up for you. I am going to speak up for you, and I'm going to protect you. And there are, journaling prompts and just exercises that you can do around that basically heals you and begins to form the concept of self-trust, okay? It's a big concept. I love that concept because it's the basis of confidence. Self-trust is. I was so shy. I was so introverted and reserved. Introversion actually is not a bad thing. It has a lot of strengths. I was more reserved and shy and just not confident. Okay, so once I started doing the work, I changed. Okay, I changed. There's no other way to put this. And I remember all through my teenage years, I wondered and I read self-help books and all sorts of things. And I wondered if there would ever come a day where I would be confident and be comfortable in my own skin and be comfortable using my voice, because I always knew that my voice was going to be a big part of just living a successful life on the planet, But my voice was gone. It had been taken away, by sadness and just some of the experiences, that I had gone through. So that concept of self-mothering was super empowering to learn about, because then I realized I did not have to look to anybody else, right? I didn't have to wait for somebody else. I am empowered to take care of myself, to heal, to become a self-healer, to work with the Lord, but also do the work and embrace myself, build a relationship with myself. Those are all very important things that just help you heal properly and help your best self kind of start to shine through, because we all have dynamite beauty, just confidence, energy, creativity. Every single human being has this. We're born with it, but the world beats it down and breaks us, and shuts us up and zips us up, and just all the trauma does that. And so just getting free from that stuff really makes us come alive. And I'm so passionate about this, and I'm so passionate about seeing people come alive, seeing people free, seeing people thrive, like have their light shine through. And that's my passion in every single way. Just through all the things that God provides for us to use to stand, to heal, to shine. This is like just very like moving, it's very close to my heart. That's what I want for the world. That's what I want for people. So anyways, let's move right ahead. The second thing would be self-care. Okay. So self-mothering actually fed into self-care because once I recognized that concept, I was like, oh, so I don't have to wait for somebody else. I don't have to look for a father or look for a mother that I needed as a child or anything like that. I just can take care of myself. And so I started exploring self-care. Okay, it probably comes very easy to people who have not walked my journey and have not walked in my shoes. It probably comes so easy to them. They're like, yeah, of course, like that's what you do. You get your nails done every week. Hello. But for some of us, it was not like that, I had to learn the things that I like, the things that make me feel taken care of, and initially, I have to say this, initially it feels like cringe, okay? If you think if I thought about self-care, it felt like, oh, you're a selfish person. Oh, you're so self-focused. Oh, you're so prideful. You should be concerned about anything else than just taking care of yourself. You should be taking care of other people, just all these guilt and shame. And so it's not something that came easy at all. But I kind of built the muscle for it, whether it's eating well, exercising, just giving my body what it needs, sleep, and just dressing up well, just presenting myself a little bit better, my image, care, grooming, just that type of stuff, So healthy living really is what it was, like healthy living. And so just like making sure that I had daily habits that were feeding my soul and making me feel excited about living. You know what I mean? Because I used to feel so guilty about having fun. That was one big thing. I used to feel so guilty about having fun because it was connected to a trauma in my childhood about having fun. I won't go too much into that, but I was able to overcome that. And interestingly, I think this falls under self-care. I was able to do an EMDR therapy session, which is basically where you put on like these sound like beats. It goes like that, 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 that from ear to ear. And what it does is it simulates, like in your brain, it simulates REM sleep. It actually makes your brain go into REM sleep. And so this therapist will, put the music on and the sounds will be in it back and forth. And then you're going to revisit the past events that I knew the event that made me shut down to fun, like where when I start having fun, I start getting anxious because I felt like I was going to be in trouble. And so we went back to that scenario and rearranged it, basically. We basically rewrote the story and empowered me in it. And I'm telling you what, I believe in miracles. I have seen miracles. I've experienced miracles. This was a miracle, okay? Like, I walked out of that therapy session and I run outside with my hands in the air. I was like excited. I felt free. I felt joy. I felt less inhibition to having fun, like, and being happy. Like, I was like, this is okay. Like, this is totally fine. I can do this. And, if you struggle with that kind of stuff, you know what I'm talking about. If you're like, like, I don't care if I have fun and fun is my life, you might not understand what I'm talking about. But if you are the type of person that feels guilty when you have fun, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that thing was just lifted. Now, after it was lifted, I had more, like freedom to pursue fun things, right? And then within having fun, that kind of like became like a positive feedback loop, oh, fun is fun, right? So let's have more fun. And I just became like a little bit more comfortable with myself and with myself having fun and not being miserable all the time. So yeah, self-care. Therapy is one of that, self-care. So yeah, it felt right under that topic, and I'm gonna keep moving on. The third thing is homemaking. Yay! I love homemaking. See, when I was growing up, I did not have like a sense of home because we were displaced from my nuclear family home into a different home that never felt like home. It was very chaotic. My mom had to work a lot, so it was strained, right? Home was strained, and it was just hard to build a nest. Okay, so that sense of home was always kind of like missing in my heart. And so when I started just focusing, and I started doing homemaking way before I actually got married, I would just, take extra time to care for my clothes, arrange my clothes and, just like make my bedroom look nice. And these are things that I did not have growing up, I know people grew up having like immaculate rooms. I keep saying this because it would take a person who understands to know what I'm talking about. I did not have any of this stuff growing up. And so just making my bed every morning and making sure my room looks nice, and getting flowers for my room, and just creating making sure my spaces are clean, cooking regularly, and stuff like that, and using candles around my home. I actually got into this concept called hygge. It's a European concept that basically has to do with like creating cozy spaces that foster a sense of wellness and contentment and just peace and calm. Basically, from using candles, scented candles, to lighting, to decor, to blankets. It's actually really cool. It's like decor, just all the things, artwork, mugs, and it's very interesting, but it's also very effective in creating that sense of home and that sense of peace and that sense of like a base, because I think human beings are, we do love home. That's our base, like that's where we emerge and thrive and rest and build from. So it was a really cool concept that I could incorporate into my homemaking, cooking, baking, just all the things, and it kind of takes me into the next thing that was kind of close to homemaking, but also is in its own separate category, called gardening. I love gardening because it just, initially I was so nervous about it because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I was able to learn quickly. And it's a no-brainer. You put seeds in the soil and they grow. But I literally didn't even think they would grow because I hadn't done it before. I'm like, will this grow? I mean, how does this happen? Do people I don't know. But I got into gardening and I was able to grow flowers, vegetables for our family. We just grew big gardens. What got me into it is I grew one green bean in a little IKEA pot on a windowsill. And when the bean actually sprouted and grew a bean, I was like, what? This is a miracle. This is a miracle. I love gardening. And that's actually where the spark and the desire for gardening came from, because I was like, it actually grew and it actually made a bean sprout. It was amazing. It was wild. If you grew up in the city, you've never been around that kind of stuff, it was like a miracle. Literally I watched a miracle happen. And so I was like, let's make more of this miracle. This is free dopamine. Free dopamine rush, So we got into gardening and it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. It does cut some of the grocery bill, if you do it right. Just spending time in nature, in the soil, and growing flowers. I grew all kinds of different things. Just the flowers and the beauty of that were all super healing things for me. It just made me feel like life was good. And, even if there are difficult times, I can look at a rose and the beauty of it, the innocence of it, and know that there is beauty in the world, and everything was gonna be okay. It's totally a very effective, relaxing modality or activity, I should say, to do. It's just amazing. Plus, you get delicious vegetables and all kinds of things. So gardening was one of those things. And then that leads me to my final point that I want to make. Obviously, under all these points, there are deeper bits of practices, right? But I have also shared a little bit more on other videos. You're welcome to check out my other videos for just more different things that I have, and practices that I've done on my journey and through my learning and everything else. So to help you with this journey called life and healing and thriving, especially after trauma. So the last but not the least thing that I tried, it was a little bit trendy. It got trendy and we kind of stumbled into it. Slow living. It became a trend for a really long time. It probably still is. But when I had my first child, we bought a house in the country, and we just kind of fell into the gardening life and just that slow living mindset. That was super therapeutic. I needed that because I just needed a break, especially as a pregnant woman, and also after I had my first child. I stayed home with him and just nursed and took care of him, took care of myself, recovered, built gardens, had him run around in the green pastures. It was just so good. for him to be able to have that freedom. Because in homes, sometimes they can only go so far until they hit a furniture piece or they reach for something that's they shouldn't be touching or that could fall on them. But in green space, my little baby could just go, and that in itself fostered like calm and just like peace for me. So slow living, a lot of things that had to do with that is just doing, just not being involved in the fast-paced, normal American style living. Just maybe going to like smaller town events, being in nature more, just like soaking in so much nature and just doing less, doing less, and having less be more. Oh my goodness, it was so good. It was so good. And even now, my work has picked up a little bit more, but because of that experience, I have a calibration, right? I have something to kind of keep me in check so that I'm not running myself ragged or not like overtasking myself. And what that did for me, slow living did, is actually because it was helping me heal, right? Just in the doing less and then the rest. And just the mindset shifts that happened during that time, it also increased my capacity to then be able to work a little bit more now. So what do I mean by increasing capacity? It literally took me from burnout, stress, to some more, space and spaciousness. And I think my nervous system probably got a chance to heal itself, to reboot, that type of stuff. And during that time, this is over maybe a couple of years. During that time, I was able to also learn habits, right, and mindsets, and just different things around how to live differently than I had been living, that helped me and help me still today to create calm, right? And to be able to teach other people to do the same, that they can do the same, that we can make the shift from stress, burnout, running around, running ragged, chasing what we don't exactly know, to having vision and a purpose and focus and having habits and mindsets that are healthier, and just keep you grounded and keep you moving forward, but at a pace that makes sense for your life and your family, your body, your mind, your heart. So it's been really cool to experience a lot of the things that I get to teach, and get to like invite other people into. And the healing journey is a process. Like I don't know that there is ever like an end, but I have come a long way for sure. The Ethel that I knew back then would not be sitting here today making this video. She just won't. It just will not happen. But I believe part of making this video is pouring into others and inviting others into peaceful ways of being, into health, into wellness, and into becoming more and more themselves, and connecting more and more with their inner selves, with God, and then, connecting with others and being their best selves with others, right? Thriving relationships are a big thing as well. So, so those are the 5 things: self-mothering, self-care, homemaking, gardening, and slow living. They have been super beneficial on my healing walk. And thank you so much for hanging in there with me and watching this video. I love hanging out with you guys and just sharing. And until next time, I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.